Hi, this is Ryan Edens, replying to our Module 2 response to the lectures from Dr. Panos. I want to start by saying that the responses that I have aren't necessarily the one and only truth. They're just a response about my beliefs and what I think about how science and religion connect. So as you watch this, don't feel offended. Don't feel like you need to argue. This is definitely just my personal belief. My personal faith might come up a little bit, and yeah, I just wanted to pretense this video with that so nobody feels offended. So yeah, the first question asks, do you think that science and religion conflict? I can answer that by saying no. I think that there are parts of it that might conflict depending on whose perception, or depending on the perception of the person who's learning new material or who is being exposed to new material that they're not used to that might challenge their faith. However, me personally, I don't think that they conflict. I think that there's a very healthy balance between what we know scientifically and then my personal beliefs as a Catholic Christian. I feel like there's a healthy balance where they connect. I take a lot of the science that I've learned in my education and articles that I read and stuff. Somehow I make it form and fit into my faith so that it all makes sense to me. That creates balance for me. I have naturally just allowed it to make sense ever since I was a little kid. I remember in elementary school just kind of connecting evolution to, well, maybe this is how God really did it. Yeah, the Bible says this, but there's got to be a reason why. And I always just found links and loopholes to make my faith make sense. That helped me pray better at night. That helped me go to bed better at night. So I do not believe they conflict. I believe that people have the conflict because some people, I don't want to say some people, that might be offensive. A lot of human beings look for rhyme and reason. I think that it's a natural thing that was given to us in birth, is to be curious. I think that a lot of human beings need, and they thrive on the truth. They thrive on reading something that's true, that's backed up with evidence that makes them feel better inside. That's not necessarily a bad thing. For me, that's something I can identify with, but it's not how I live my life. I don't necessarily need the rhyme and reason behind everything to be able to know that something is true or that something makes sense. However, on an academic level, it's nice to have the evidence-based information at my fingertips. It helps things make more sense, but you're always going to have those anomalies that pop out of nowhere, that they don't fit the books, they don't fit the research, and they don't fit on a normal scale. So yeah, I think that other people have that conflict because they need that truth. They need that to kind of help themselves feel better, because maybe their faith isn't so great. Maybe they really don't believe in a lot of things. I don't know the actual reason why, but I just think that they have a need for it. At the end of the day, they have a need for it, and they think that having it written down or research to back it up allows them to believe whatever it is they're believing a little bit better. And number two, what did I like the most about the two lectures? I really, really, really liked the way that Dr. Panos introduced, from what it seemed like, a non-biased perspective, introduced both sides of things. Here's the scientific side, here's how we've always believed, here's what Galileo brought to the table, and here's what we have now. We have all the scientific information, this conflicts with this. I like the most that he introduced those two worlds without, he didn't really reveal where he comes from. He just introduced the information from a non-biased perspective, which made a lot of sense to me, and it was interesting to watch. I didn't necessarily feel offended at any time by what he was saying, so I like the way that he introduced the two opposing sides, conflicting sides. What did I like the least about the module and the two lectures? TED Talks. I normally love TED Talks, but this TED Talks guy was kind of annoying. He had a lot of good things to say, and he's definitely a well-educated guy, and he's very interesting to watch. However, I don't like the way that he labeled and placed us in this one, how he labeled and placed us into two different categories, jokingly saying, if your dog is this way, then as a liberal you would think this way. Like, yeah, it's funny, and it might have caught some people's attention, but I think that just perpetuates the way that our society works right now with labeling people and labeling things and putting people into perfect little boxes that make sense. That's the one part I didn't like about the lectures. The rest of it was phenomenal, though. Very interesting stuff to watch. Again, these are just some of my beliefs. Not meant to. I wasn't intending to hurt anybody's feelings or argue with anybody. I just wanted to reply to the 2 questions Dr. Panos had, most honestly, and that's my spiel.